Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Friday Morning at the Fun House alongside Mr. Martin
Yes.
Popoff. What's
Morning,
going
sir.
on?
Morning, sir. Nothing much. We've got an interesting show here planned on a blistering hot summer day. Summer's definitely arrived.
Yes, it's going to disappear, though, tomorrow, I think, at least
Oh
here in
yeah.
New York.
Okay.
It was like 90 yesterday. It's going to be like 92 today. And then tomorrow, like 60 something. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's typical of this spring. Just fly all over the place. Anyway, we've got a fun show for you guys here today. Today's kind of like show and tell today. And I know we've kind of dabbled in some stuff in the past here on the channel. Of course, we do have the Curse of the Collector show, but Martin and I really wanted to kind of get into the nitty gritty and show some kind of really cool, nerdy stuff from our collection that's, music related. So box sets, promo stuff, stickers, books, patches, clothing, posters, whatever, guitar picks. I don't know, whatever we got, ticket stubs. Martin, whatever else. What am I missing here?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I did too. I sorted it into categories and hopefully like roll through this stuff pretty fast. But yeah, just go through some of these categories here. I've really tried. I've tried to pull stuff that I don't think I've shown in various shows or whatever. I mean, I'm a big autograph guy, but I just have that as one very quick little category here. And I'm just going to show my favorite couple of things, right? Because that's what I'm worried about. But yeah, I don't think we've ever shown like buttons and paper goods and backstage passes and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we'll give it a shot, see what happens.
And I do want to preface this. Martin and I, both in our respective offices, Canada and New York, have shit everywhere. So we are going to be kind of walking on and off camera quite a bit during this episode. So please have a little patience with us, and we go and grab things, because when I got two dogs I'm trying to deal with and keep in the office with me at the same time. So we're probably going to be reaching, grabbing, walking up and down a lot in this episode. So just strap yourselves in and enjoy the ride. So Martin, kick us off with whatever you got first.
Yes, and I wanted to also stress that I'm going to try to stay on mic, so I'm not too far away, because this mic is sensitive if I'm far away. So I'm going to try not to talk too far away. But yeah, holding up the big stuff is kind of the problem. So okay, well, let's start with this. A couple of things here. This is one thing I always am marveled that I own. And I hope I haven't shown this before, but I actually, even for Record Collector magazine, had to write up the story of this once. But it's my Slayer God Hates Us All collection. So we've got a fully signed, and I'll watch the camera work here. So we got a fully signed copy of the album. It's just the album, right? We've got the Columbia promo with some notes from the label on it there. So there you got a white label Columbia promo. We've got a Universal Advance promo, because this was kind of in between record labels, this album, right?
Those whites, the white label.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh,
and
yeah.
Here's one I don't even know what label this was from. So, a couple weeks later, this shows up or whatever, right? So you got one of those and another of those. We've got the very white label Burn promo, Advance CD, June 1st, 2001. We've got the whatever this promo is. So we got one like this with just white label. Sometimes they'll just stamp in paper on it what it is. So this is from the mastering lab, Sony Music Mastering Canada. So this is Sony, Leslie Street, again saying June 13th, 01. And then we've got the fact that the album came out September 11th, 2001. So I've got the promo ticket. I could do something a little better here. Oh, maybe I can't. I don't know. Anyways, I'll watch the maybe get the lighting right. So this is the advance promo ticket that says 2001 on it. It says Slayer God Hates Us All in store September 11th, 2001. Crazy, eh?
Yeah.
With a title like that as well. And then finally in there, I've got my ticket stub for when I actually went to the show and saw this. So that's That's a big whack of you know, the Slayer God Hates Us All story right there, right?
And just so everybody understands how this works and why we get all this stuff sometimes. So when you're a journalist and you are, are writing for a magazine or a webzine or a vlog or blog or whatever it might be, and you are on the list to receive promo copies from certain labels or from bands or PR firms or management groups. That's why we get all these, because the PR group may send you a early copy. The PR group may send you a final mix copy. You may actually get an actual, like Martin showed, the CD with the slipcase. You get the final version. Sometimes a marketing group will send you something. Sometimes the band themselves will send you something. And before you know, by the time this album comes out, you've received 5, 6, 7 copies of the same album in its various forms. Like, you see all these different, with a white label on it, with the typewritten white sleeve. I mean, it's amazing sometimes with some of these releases how many we will get in. That's just the way it goes. And they don't do it much anymore, but they will mail that to every writer they have on their distribution list. So, Brave Words and Bloody Knuckles and Sea of Tranquility and Metal Hammer and Kerrang and Metal Sucks and Bad Boy Metal, whatever. Everybody gets one, and everybody gets all this stuff. So now we've got all these copies of the new Slayer that has flooded the journal scene, right? Or journalist scene, I should say. And Martin has kept them all, right? So they're, sometimes I used to get these. After a while, I just give them to friends and whatnot, and say, "Oh, you want a copy? Here you go." Because it gets.
Hey, can you hit pause for a sec? I just want to try fix my lighting.
Yep, you got it.
Okay, I think we got this a little better here. So let's I'll do one more category here because I've got a bunch of them here. So let's do buttons really quickly. So I've got a bunch of buttons out that I've, I do these memorabilia buys all over the place. This isn't everything that's I've got from experience or whatever. Like, case in point, look at that, the CBGB Johnny Blitz benefit. So this is when Johnny Blitz got beaten up from the Dead Boys and stabbed, I think, it almost died in New York City. So there was a benefit concert. We've got the Bob and Doug McKenzie button. There we go. The look at this Kinks Misfits.
Wow.
Kind of a custom cool button. We've got this was definitely a promo item sent to me. The band Witchery, cool Witchery metal stamped one. We've got an XTC one. Remember our cool XTC show we did?
Oh yeah.
The records, I love this band, cool power pop bands. I like when you get stuff from more obscure things. That's the early initial Salty Dog logo before they were, the album that got released big time. A Brave Words and Bloody Knuckles pin.
Nice.
This is a cool one. A Little Blue Oyster Cult logo gold pin, stamped through. We've got the RushCon. RushCon did some neat stuff for the Rush conventions. Little RushCon one. It's a pin for the Mellotron movie that got put out. So there's a picture of a Mellotron on that one.
Nice. That's awesome.
This is a cool one. Very nice one. A Thin Lizzy Chinatown stamped, metal pin. Let's see what else we got here. That one. Voivod, nothing Voivod on it. Just a cool away thing. Agony Column, that old obscure band. Remember I told you Agony Column, those guys generously sent me some stuff. There's a beautiful little Peter Gabriel one, metal stamp.
Oh, that is nice. Yeah.
And then finally a Peter Gabriel DIY one that just says DIY on it. So there you go. That's the button category. I'll turn it over to you for a category.
All right, I'm still grabbing stuff. So all right. Let's see. God, where do we start here? All right. So how about some patches?
Okay.
Again, half of these, I don't even know where I got them, but whatever. How about a little Cathedral, Forest of Equilibrium patch? Borknagar. People are probably like, is that what that says?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. That's what that says. Lords of Black. That's kind of neat. Got a Queensryche one. Got a Uriah Heep one. That came with their new CD. Band called Spiral Grave. There's a button for you.
Yeah.
We got a little sack full of Queensryche buttons. Right. I thought these are cool. George LeMay made these and sent these to me. These are bottle caps right? Stained glass. These are bottle cap magnets.
Wow,
Stained glass,
that is wicked.
moving pictures.
Yeah, very cool.
Chick Corea Electric Band. He sent me a couple fusion ones, and then Return to Forever, him in the Seventh Galaxy. I don't know if people can see that,
Nice.
but
Very cool.
yeah, those are kind of cool. Let's see what else we got here, Martin. Geez, how about coasters? Sure, why not? Vandenberg.
Wow. Yeah.
Let's see, Gary Moore.
Nice.
Gary Moore postcard.
Hmm.
What else we got here? Vandenberg sticker. Well, no, that's a postcard. Sorry. Yeah, well, I don't know what's up with this postcard stuff. Guitar picks. I haven't even taken them out of there. There's the sticker. A little signed postcard from Mr. Dirk Schneider there. I'll save the all access thing for later on. And that, how about so Sean Christie is this very, very great guitar player that releases like instrumental albums, and he sent me this cool little guitar pick tin with a whole bunch of his signature picks in there, which is kind of cool. And let's see, what else can I show here? You know, I didn't get a chance to bring a lot of like clothing, but I did want to grab this one because I did like a whole series on my t-shirt collection. But this was a shirt that was sent to me by my friend Sean Haggerty, who used to be the drum tech for both Deep Purple and Uriah Heep for many, many years. So he sent me a crew shirt.
Wow.
From Deep Purple from the Europe tour of 2008. And of course, this is Sean's a big guy. This is 4XL. So I will never be able to wear this, obviously, but it's a cool kind of little keepsake from that tour. So I did want to show it and grab that. And yeah, I guess I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, in the rare vinyl category, I mean, I unfortunately don't have a lot of really cool rare vinyl. I'm sure if I went through it, I feel like I've got a lot of these kinds of records that might go for 40 or 50 or 60 bucks in record stores. But I once had 11,000 records. It's now down to 5,000. A lot of it is crap. Like a lot of it is the $1 crap and stuff. But just show a few randomly for kicks. You know, my original Savatage Sirens that I bought, you know, as a new release. Unfortunately, mine is just the black vinyl one, so it's not even the super rare one. But yeah, so this was really cool. You know, you see songs like, you know, Twisted Little Sister on, you think, oh, this is going to be heavy, right? I think it's pretty cool that I managed to hold on to my original Joy Division album. So that's an actual UK of the debut, and this is a Canadian copy of Closer. And this is also a UK of the double one still with, you know, the stamped white on it. And the last one is I thought this was kind of cool. So, you know, I'm a big Witchfinder General fan. So you know, I've still got my original Soviet Invasion EP, and then my original you know, Death Penalty and Friends of Hell vinyls, right? On Heavy Metal Records. But so when I was I either did this when I went on a trip down to Washington to do some photo shoots for one of my book, and I traded a bunch of books to Mike Pritchard and those guys. And Mike Pritchard down there had a cool record label going. But so I either did that then, or we did it by mail later. But I do have this Witchfinder General Buried Amongst the Ruins, which is a gatefold. And then you've got the Burning the Sinner repro in there, and you've got a Soviet Invasion repro in there. And a big, huge booklet in it. And then I've got this Witchfinder General Live 83, which is also a gatefold double with a big booklet in it, right? Maybe it's the same booklet, but yeah, apparently he told me, I think one of these, or no, actually, no, I still have that too. It wasn't these that are, so these are your typical like low quantity vinyl things, but I think I've got a Sweet Savage that he said there were only 65 made of that. So yeah, that's just a little representative of vinyl. Let's do backstage passes quickly. So You know that I had done Alan Poulin, who was like the backstage pass king. He sold it all off. I did a book, a coffee table book of backstage passes that looks like that, full color throughout. I love backstage passes. Turns out I'm the only one who loves backstage passes because this is almost my worst seller of all my books of all time. I still have a bunch. I actually don't have a bunch of them. I have about 20 of them left. But so it's a really nice coffee table book, and I was basically paid in backstage passes, and I paid my layout guy who laid out the magazine, one of my favorite paintings I've ever done, plus a bunch of money and stuff. So it's like it costs a lot to do this, but I've got passes all over the place. But just some interesting little ones that I got from a different situation. There's an Aussie with a weird logo, World Tour 81 backstage pass. This is from Peter Budge, so that'll come in later. I bought some awards from. This is a fully signed Rod Stewart, including Rod Stewart, his band signed backstage pass. That was from another memorabilia buy. And then I did these funny things. So I was in Walmart one day, and I saw these frames that were perfect for backstage passes. So I thought, oh, okay. So I'll put a few of these up, and I just put them on the wall. But there's 5 different Rush backstage passes. Here's 5 different Lynyrd Skynyrd backstage passes, and then 5 different really cool ZZ Top backstage passes. They're gold, they're laminates, they're beautiful designs on these things, and that's why I thought it would make a really cool coffee table book. But yeah, I've got about 1,000 of these, and they're lined up, and ridges all over the place, and all over the office. But yeah, maybe at one point, if we figure out to take a camera around, use the phone or whatever, we could do a show somehow that way. I don't know.
Yeah, we could do like little series of shorts and things like that, and just that might work as well.
Yeah.
The stuff hanging on the wall. Yeah, it's kind of hard to move the computer around, and
So I'll turn over to you.
All right, I'll kind of keep in line with what you were just doing. So again, my buddy Sean sent these to me, and he was also doing the Government Mule Tour in 2006. So he's got this VIP access, and here's the Deep Purple Bananas Tour crew access. And then I've got, and I have them all in a photo album, and folks have seen bits and pieces of my photo album before, but here's like, photo pit access to the Thin Lizzy New York City show in 2005, I guess that was. What else we got here? I got a pic from the guys in Hammerfall. All right.
Yeah,
here it is right there. I know this is kind of awkward, but let's see here. What else we got? Here we got Primal Fear access. Right there. Not sure what this BB King's one was for. I'm assuming it was Opeth. Here we got one for that's not a good one. Cradle of Filth. I'm looking for the ones that look really cool. Here's one from Progressive Nation Tour. So this was Dream Theater, Opeth, Between the Buried and Me, and a couple other bands right there.
Nice.
I mean, for a couple of years, I was just in New York City all the time. Here, the Gigantor with Megadeth, right down there, the green one.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah, that's a nice thing about the small stuff, right? You can put it in binders like that. It's easy to store, right?
It's easy to store, yeah.
Small collectibles, yeah.
Symphony X right there. And some of the venues didn't make up the nice looking ones. Here's Dimmu Borgir, like BB King's was in New York City, and Times Square was notorious for not putting any of the band information on there. There's Dimmu Borgir, right?
Yeah.
It was for the In Sorte Diabole tour. Let's see. What else? Oh, here's a cool one. Carl Palmer Band.
Right. Yeah. I've got that same one. I went down and saw him for that.
Which show did you see?
Oh, boy, this would be about 15 years ago. He played Lee's Palace. It was a Carl Palmer. He had one of those double CDs out or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, the live band with the young kid on guitar. It was probably the same tour.
So,
This
yeah,
was
yeah,
2006, so it'll be
yeah,
right around the same time.
yeah,
Here's Sodom, Fintroll. This was on my birthday.
yeah.
This is a sad reminder of I got really drunk that night, and I wound up leaving the show early because I was so wasted. I couldn't even concentrate on what was
Yeah.
going on. This is what happens when you hang out with Fintroll backstage
Yeah.
before the show
Yeah.
and thinking I could drink with these guys. I
Yeah.
mean, bad decision. I was like, literally, it was like halfway through Fintroll. I'm through Sodom set, and I'm just like, I got to get out of here. It's just,
Like Corpaclani, happy little boozer.
oh man, yeah, those guys can drink. Let me tell you, Stradivarius
Yeah.
right there. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'll turn it back over to you, Martin. I'll look to see if I have any other good. Oh, here's
Okay.
one
Well,
more
I'll
page
I'll
here.
stay on that theme. So yeah, I've got binders like that too with tickets, but I've also done some ticket stub buys over the year, and it's got some kind of neat ticket stubs. And this actually isn't from a buy. This is when Mike Ratty from Rex, the drummer, sent me some nice Rex stuff. So I've got some old vintage Rex. There's a nice one, Rex ticket
Oh
stubs.
yeah,
Right? He
wow.
sent me a slide. Remember when they did slides? And then some ticket stub buys I did. Old John Cale one. That was the intermediate one where a lot of the tickets looked like that. Here's a weird taped together Ian Hunter photo pass. These are nice. These are the like this is the Hammersmith ACDC at the Hammersmith 1982 ticket. That's kind of cool. Old cool looking old Doobie Brothers one, right?
It almost looks like a Trojan wrapper.
Yeah. Joe Perry project.
Oh yeah, wow.
Kind of a neat one. Look at this Boston one. There's a nice one.
Oh, look at that with the logo and everything. That's
Yeah.
the way to do it.
Yeah. We've got Southside Johnny and the Asbury Dukes. Little one there. Here's another neat one. Newcastle City Hall. Dio special guest Queensryche.
Oh, cool.
Little paper ticket. Here's a nice one. Ozzy Osbourne, 1992, with a hologram on it. And again, paper.
Yeah.
Look at this Ozzy one. This is great. Ozzy spelt wrong, 1984. Get it to focus. How do we get to focus?
Yeah, it's so small. There you
go. This is wild. I don't even know what year this is. Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band ticket.
Wow.
That's cool. Really vintage looking weird old Foreigner one. Another cool Black Sabbath one with support Circus of Power 1990 Amsterdam. And we got a old Van Halen one. And yeah, just a couple more of those UK ones. So what do we got there? We got Whitesnake plus guests, Steve Hackett. So all 1981 Steve Hackett.
Wow.
Cool. Let's see. I'll run through one more category here. Okay, so let's just do my signed one quickly. I mean, I've shown most of these many times, but I just want to show my favorites. So, there we go. The Flick of the Switch vinyl, and this was from meeting the guys after the big Toronto Rocks Festival and interviewing Malcolm in the hotel room. That's definitely a fond memory. Of course, we've got, I've shown this before, but the fully signed Sabotage, another fond memory. This is when Tim and I got to interview the guys down at the Royal York Hotel in Toronto when they did the reunion album and tour. So we sat down in a hotel room with Geezer and Tony, and then we were ushered down the hall, sat down with Bill and Ozzy, and, and did interviews with them all. So got a bunch of stuff signed that day. And I always thought this one was pretty amazing to get. So we've got Iggy on here, Ron Ashton, who is no longer with us, Scott Ashton, who is no longer with us. And then this scriggly one at the bottom is James Williamson. To have something like that on Metallic KO is pretty darn bizarre. All right, I'll turn it over to you for a category.
All right, I'm going to stay in the book for a little bit. Just let's look at some more ticket stubs before I do. I've come across some cool Styx guitar picks there. And a cool Kansas lanyard. They want to show that. There's guitar picks all over this book. I should have just put them all in one section. to show them all off, but unfortunately I didn't do that. So if I come across any, I'll just pull them up. I got one from Richie Rano and Stars, and Jim Poobah. But anyway, I wanted to kind of show some of these. Martin was showing some pretty vintage ticket stubs. So here I'll go to page 1 of my book. So these were the first. So there you have Ozzy with Randy Rhoads and Motorhead.
Wow.
The Poughkeepsie, Rush at Madison Square Garden. Molly Hatchet with Jimmy Farrar on the first tour. REO Speedwagon 1981, hot on the heels of course, their big album. I got Black Sabbath right there.
Yeah.
That was the
look. Yeah.
Mob Rules tour.
Yeah.
Triumph.
And later on, it's a fax paper technology. So if you leave them out in the sunlight, the later ticket stubs, they'll just fade right away.
They'll just fade. That's why it's so important to put them in here. It's Russian Rory Gallagher at Madison Square Garden, 82. The Who on their reunion, or not reunion, their original goodbye tour of, and that was in, what was it, 1982, right? Yeah, at Shea Stadium. What do we got here? Blue Oyster Cult, Iron Maiden, Motley Crue. I mean, these are the Ticketron, for those of you that remember these. Right, so all sorts of stuff from the early 80s. And let me just flip through here real quick, see if there's anything else of interest before I move on to something else. I could spend all day in this book. This is just a treasure trove of memories for me. But what else we got here? So speaking of the Who, here's a sticker from the radio station from K-Rock, 92.3 FM, the Who, their 25th anniversary tour. There's that. What else? Here's a cool book signed by a kind of an unknown author, but maybe you heard of him. His name is Martin Popoff. This is pretty cool because remember, Martin, when you were putting the CDs in the back of the book?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
exactly. So I got the whole series of these. These are really, really cool. What else can I grab here real quick? Everything else. You know what? Wait, before I do that, because everything else that has is like box sets and cool things like that. So Martin was showing like promo things that you get from labels and stuff. So here are some other examples of promo copy, right? Comes in this little plastic sleeve, right? It's Pineapple Thief. Savoy Brown, Jared James Nicholas, Creator. Okay, and this we would get these all the time. So it basically comes in this little like cardboard sleeve, almost looks like a mini replica LP sleeve. And on the back, you got all your information, and usually it says, not for sale and whatnot. What else here? Dylan Turner, and promo copy not for sale. In a lot of cases, you don't get really any information whatsoever on some of these bands. Uli John Roth. And they would do these. They stopped doing these, Martin. Do you remember when they stopped doing these little physical cardboardy things? Maybe about 8 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, maybe longer.
Maybe longer than that.
Really stopped, but yeah. And I remember sometimes you'd get shortened versions of the songs, and then Nuclear Blast, I think it was ticking everybody off with the "You're listening to the new Stuck Mojo album."
That was the worst.
They'd stick that into it, so just to kind of ruin it, make it more of a promo. And sometimes you'd actually get, for the bigger bands, you'd actually get your name stamped right on it. You'd get a watermark thing assigned to you, and your name would be printed right on there in the black ink, right on the CD, right?
Yeah, which is crazy. It used to drive me nuts when they put those watermark stuff on there, because you figure you're a journalist, they're not paying you to review their product, right? So at least you get the music, you can put it into your iTunes and put it on your iPod. You can't even do it with those, right? Which is just ridiculous. So
and do you remember when Sony, I think it was Sony, for a short time there, would make ones that you couldn't burn, you couldn't copy CDs, right?
Exactly.
Protected CDs,
which that was just,
you can bring into your iTunes as well.
I used to have stacks and stacks of these. I gave away so many of them. I just kept the ones that I thought were somewhat of interest to me, based on stuff that I would want to keep. But man, I literally had hundreds of these. And what do you do with all of them? But I'm trying to think if there's anything else cool here to show off. There's Russell Allen's one and only solo album. I got a bunch of Artillery, some Annihilator. I got more, but just kind of, again, give folks an idea of what we would get mailed like on a daily basis. stuff like this. And before you know it, you just got hundreds and hundreds of these things. So anyway, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, some odds and sods here. Let's do this one quickly. Very odds and sods. So Todd K. Smith, buddy of mine, writer, he sent me this once, a Rhett Forrester binder. I think I've shown this before, so I'm not going to go through it, but there's all these letters in here. There's, obviously heartbreaking. We lost Rhett. He was murdered. But yeah, there's all these promo pictures and a couple of signed things in here as well. Press clippings, a little bit about letters from his mother and kind of like how, the court cases were panning out. So there's some legal documents in here as well, and promo photos. So yeah, that's my Rhett Forrester binder. Okay, so to do a couple of large things here, we had a really amazing store here called Sonic Temple. And they used to have bands in and get stuff signed. Yeah. And this is one I traded off of a buddy, but I've never in person met a single person from Aerosmith. But it's kind of nice to have this big plaqued up board here with a completely fully signed Aerosmith plaqued board. Oh, there you go. So there you go. That's fully signed in gold or silver. Okay, here's another oddity. Put that over there. Don't fall down. This, I might have shown this before. This is kind of cool. It's just a little paper promo thing that would have come with an old record, but I framed it up and put it on the wall. And so it's like printed on parchment, and it's got the little built-in, printed burn marks on the side. But I'll read it here. It says, diary note, October 31st, 1981 AD. Today, I realized that my ideas and mental images are fitting in with my plan. I just realized my new album, Diary of a Madman, which has been an idea of mine for the last 5 years. I am happy with the success of my debut Blizzard of Oz album and the tens of thousands of followers that have come to see my shows. But I think that something has changed me. I keep seeing visions of my birth, my life, and my death. I've become infatuated with the feeling of horror. My fascination with life's phobias has manifested itself on the new record. I only hope that its tracks will freeze the blood and make the flesh creep to make people understand that this is Ozzy music. If my ideas seem disordered in intellect or slightly psychotic, it is because they are. I am Ozzy Osbourne.
That's awesome.
That's kind of cool, eh? Okay, so promo items quickly. The Generation Swine pig mask, that you see on the cover. This was sent. Suspiciously enough, there's no Motley markings on it, so it might be something straight off the shelf for all I know, right? Sometimes you'd get that with promo items. You'd see them and go, this is off the shelf, right? My Loggins and Messina deck of cards. The Rush Toasted to the Heart, a little box of cereal that we got at a Rush listening party for one of the reissues. It's just a cardboard box. My Blue Oyster Cult Agents of Fortune hard plastic dice pen holder.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you've got, let's just show the artwork of the album on there, right? And the pen just sits in that. You've got the Bachman Turner Overdrive belt buckle. Big heavy belt
buckle. Those old belt buckles. That's right.
The Nervous Eaters punk band Electra fork. You've got an Electra logo on a cheap plastic fork. The Yes and Sparkomatic getting together on this is probably it's a box of matches. Probably for a big generator, maybe. A Rush Hold Your Fire balloon. The Van Halen panties. A Stone Temple Pilot keychain. So here's a crazy one. So we've got the Robert Plant Manic Nirvana incense.
Why not?
Yeah. So here's a crazy promo one I've mentioned a few times. I don't think I've ever pulled it out. I certainly can't do it here because it's insane. So this is the massive Peter Gabriel Melt album cover poster, right?
Oh,
So
enormous.
it's in 4 panels, and each panel is like this. So I can't even fold out one panel. I did a rough measurement because I have the measurements somewhere, because I opened it up and took some pictures of it once. But so this is one panel of it, and then it folds
Okay, so
out.
it's like those big wall posters that you don't see anymore.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
each panel is 12 square feet at least. So that's minimum. I might even missed a fold or two. So if it's that, so it's 24, so it's 48 square feet at least for this Peter Gabriel poster. And it's just, has to sit in his bag like this, and what can you ever do with it, right?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, who's ever going to hang that up?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it would fill a very large wall. So
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, and this is one I've always joked about a few times that I thought I'd finally find and pull out. This so it comes in this cardboard box like this. Hopefully I've never shown this before, but this is the Christaberg TV dinner tray promo. So you open it up, you get the Christaberg Power of 10 CD in it. And then you get what is this? So I think this is just standard TV tray stuff, right? So you get this Stylet tray table box. There's nothing, it doesn't say Christaberg on it anywhere. And then you get an actual plastic TV dinner tray. And then you get the A&M cover letter. And then you get kind of a nice stapled together deluxe bio. Why the TV tray? I don't know. I guess there must be a song on here about TV trays or something. Beats me. But yeah, you get this press clipping, little magazine in it that sits. Oh, look at that. Okay. So the TV tray is custom. Oh, that's why. So it's I guess it's got a song, Separate Tables. So there you go. So that's printed right on it. So it is a custom Christaberg TV dinner tray. I'll turn over to you and I'll put this stuff down somewhere.
And again, what would one ever do with that stuff other than keep it in the original box and file it away somewhere, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna move it over here. Okay.
All right. Let's see. So every now and then you get to meet and become friends with some really cool people, and they send you a box of stuff. And this box of stuff is a box of Mike Portnoy. Mike Portnoy decided to send me a whole shit ton of stuff from the vaults, from the Portnoy and Dream Theater vaults. All sorts of cool DVDs, live shows, Dream Theater playing Dark Side of the Moon. What else? All these official bootleg series. What else? And the many bands that he was in. So Liquid Tension Experiment.
Yeah.
Live in LA. I'm playing all sorts of Zeppelin covers. I mean, this is, if you want to talk about getting nerdy, here, them doing the whole Live at Leeds album, basically all of Tommy. This was with his band, The Amazing Journey, which is basically a Who cover band. His other band, Yellow Matter Custard, doing all Beatles stuff. How about them doing Rush, right? Doing the Hemispheres. And then you got, Sons of Apollo, live double disc set. Got, Neil Morse Band, The Great Adventure. Tons of CDs. You want to hear Dream Theater do Master of Puppets, the entire album. There you go.
Yeah.
Doing more Beatles stuff, right? That's his other band, Liquid Tension live in New York City. I was actually at that show. We got live scenes from New York. This is the original version, okay, with the New York City burning, right, which they took off the market because, again, it was right around the time of 9/11. Dream Theater playing Number of the Beast.
Yeah.
And this is all like fan club stuff, right? So like if you didn't buy this when it came out, good luck trying to get this stuff now. How about them doing the entire Made in Japan album? Pretty cool. What else? Doing all covers. This is pretty interesting. So they do Death on Two Legs by Queen, Heart of the Sunrise by Yes, Heaven and Hell, Paradox by Kansas, Mother Father by Journey, Machine Messiah by Yes, Since I've Been Loving You by Zeppelin, Diary of a Madman, Cemetery Gates by Pantera, and Won't Get Fooled Again. So if you ever want to hear Dream Theater doing that, and then I mean there's just all sorts of other stuff, that he threw in here as well. This is just a treasure trove of everything Mike Portnoy related. And
So
I
cool.
remember, he's like, oh, give me your address. I want to send you a couple things. And then this showed up. So
wow, that's
yeah, I know, right? So much stuff. I'll spend my lifetime watching and listening to all this, but there's so much. All right, go ahead. I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, well, I feel like I might have talked about some of this before. I hope not, and also I'll try to do it quickly. But I love the whole paper goods thing, right? And at one point, I did a big trade with Steve Rosen, noted rock journalist from California. I think he was big into, because there's big money in it, actually. I think it was mostly guitar picks plus some promo stuff. So I sent him a bunch of guitar picks, and he sent me just this big mass of all these postcards and things that I just love this sort of stuff. So yeah, to go quickly through here. So in California, I guess, because you're close by, they would invite you to stuff all the time. So we've got, so I'll just go through these quicks. We've got, the original, the milk ad postcard, the Van Halen milk ad thing. We've got this interesting Capitol Records building invite to something, a Wasp Last Command postcard, but most of the rest are pretty old. We've got Late at Night, Billy Preston invite to the Roxy. This is funny. The Animals note paper. I remember I had a UFO Chrysalis note paper one as well. Yeah, I don't know if I still own it. I had an Aldo Nova empty paperback book that was all empty, and you were just supposed to use it as note paper. Bizarre, eh? Van Morrison postcard invite. Dire Straits communique. So, sent to Steve, and it gives you all the tour dates. So it's just telling them all about the tour dates. A letter about the Grateful Dead are on their way to Los Angeles, like a little 8.5, 5.5 letter, along with a Grateful Dead sticker. Santana, straight unused postcard. This is kind of cool. Sweetheart of a Show, Paul Butterfield's Better Days and Bonnie Raitt at the Troubadour. And it's like this, and it's one of these fold out heart things. A Jimmy Buffett invite, invited for an evening of changes in latitudes and attitudes. A Warner invite to check out the upcoming Beach Boys TV special, Beach Boys, It's Okay. We've got a Juice Newton, Angel of the Morning. Nantucket, Marshall Tucker Band postcard. Jefferson Airplane, Pat Metheny postcard, with the notes on the back. Frank Sinatra postcard. Don't miss the Frank Sinatra TV special, Sinatra and the Man and His Music, NBC, November 22nd. So there you go, sent to Steve Rosen. We got look at this. So that's the cover. And the inside reads, "The Valentine that gets to the heart of the matter. Thank you, Bobby Caldwell." An evening with the Atlanta Rhythm section at the Roxy. A little invite. Jesse Winchester, Doucette, The Deuce is Loose. There's Jimmy Buffett, Santana, Gordon Lightfoot. They use the little Looney Tunes Warner logo on some of this stuff. A Gordon Lightfoot invite with tour dates. So that's some paper goods. Let's see, what else do I got? Just some odds and sods. Don't really fit in categories. This I traded from a buddy of mine, Bill Barron. Yeah, the entire Gillan band signed photo in pen. That's really cool, from like 1981, right? When Gillan came and played Toronto. That's pretty wicked. Yeah. So frame that up. So yeah, I didn't get that one done. And then we've got, it's kind of neat. One of the cool, I did a big Queen memorabilia buy 25 years ago or whatever, but the Queen box of tricks is apparently a pretty neat collectible, right? and it's got, what has it got in it? That's kind of what it looks like. So you've got a VHS, a patch, a CD, and a big booklet up top. So that's your Queen box of tricks. And they even got the original box from the UK that it came in. Kind of cool. Oh yeah, so the last thing I have, period. So this concludes my end of what I've got. You know, the idea of the big gold record awards, right? So this is a cool one. This is a gold record award for Fire of Unknown Origin. Blue Oyster Cult. Move that closer. So presented to Bruce Moser. So a buddy of mine here in Toronto, Akeem Boldarev, he puts on all the record shows. He's a big mover and shaker, buys these awesome big collections, and I bought things from him. But so yeah, there's these radio people, right? So this commemorates sales of more than 500,000 copies. Columbia Records long pay. So it doesn't say much, but Bruce Moser. So he's like a radio guy, right? And I've got a few more above me here that I bought from a Peter Budge. So I've got a Helix and a Quiet Riot and a Kick Axe. But yeah, this is the cool one. I think I've got no, I don't have a Foreigner. And then I've got the one was sent to me with me on it, my name on it, the one from Wendy Dio for writing the liner notes, but I didn't bring that out. So yeah, that's all my stuff for today.
Cool. That's some good stuff. I love that gold record. That's awesome. All right, most of what I have left is box sets. So I'll just kind of before I do that, let's do a little Gentle Giant category, shall we? So Gentle Giant's got all sorts of weird oddities and releases and things like that. There's the under construction box, which has all sorts of weird things and outtakes and rare tracks and bits and things like that. And just when you thought that they would be scraping the barrel with that, why don't we get the Scraping the Barrel box set, which basically has
I've got that,
all sorts of more oddities and things that most people don't need, but of course I gotta have, right? The guys in the band were kind enough to send me this very cool signed print here.
Yeah, nice.
For the 35th anniversary edition of Giant for a Day, which is their worst album, but still kind of cool to have. Anyway, so there's that. Let's see. Got this cool promo copy of very cool live DVD from Ekelin, cool US prog band that they sent me when that first came out. This is really cool. So this is kind of before like Marillion and Jethro Tull started putting out these really cool box sets of late, and I'll get into some of that in a second. But here's an early one this is from 2004. Classic Rock Legends released this Uriah Heep set here, which again, very similar. You know, you get the disc in the front, book in the middle with all sorts of information.
Yeah.
And then a disc in the back here. And again, all sorts of rare and unreleased live stuff and things like that from the vaults. Very, very cool if you love classic Heap. And speaking of Tull box sets, so I was able to get, I now have all of the Jethro Tull box set deluxe edition reissues. And a couple of them were a little pricey, but I had to finish out the collection. So we've got Songs from the Wood. And again, for those who have never taken the plunge on these, they basically, most of the original albums are remixed. Steven Wilson did a bunch of them, and you get all sorts of bonus tracks and rare live stuff and all sorts of things housed in these gorgeous, of course, I got CDs flopping all over the place out here. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous booklets, nice, really nice presentations. And so of the recent ones I've gotten, there's that one. I also got the Passion Play box and the War Child box. And these kind of finish up my Jethro Tull collection. And there's more coming because I think they are releasing Broadsword and the Beast, I believe, is coming out in September or something like that later this year. So that'll be on the way. So there's that. But you know, before they started doing all that, they also put out this very cool 4 DVD set with a book and a very similar type package called Around the World Live. And again, very similar type presentation.
Yeah.
The book in the middle. This was released by Eagle Vision. So there's that. What else? Got this cool UFO Live on Earth from Vienna, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. And this is all stuff from 1998. And you got one show from 1977 at the Agora Ballroom in Cleveland, Ohio. So it's classic Schenker era. And then 1995. So this is pretty cool. Alrighty then.
So many of those are going to be worth a lot of money. Well, they are already, the tall ones, because you're a lot of these things, there's no way you're ever going to produce them again, right?
No, they're too expensive to make. Yeah, so exactly. Yeah. It's just yeah. The Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John box set. Again, remastered edition. Great Hammersmith Odeon live stuff. All sorts of rarities and things like that. And a cool kind of like clamshell box with a pretty neat book on the inside. Nice hardbound book. Yeah. Plus all this discs and stuff. I mean, yeah, this is stuff for the geeks right here. It's like most people are like, I'm happy with my regular album, but not everybody. So I've had this for a million years. I bought this when it first came out because I was a big Howard Stern fan. So this was 1991. Crucified by the FCC. So this was you could only order this, I believe. So it's 91. So this is like, beginning of the internet. So it's not like you can go onto a website and order this. I believe you had to like call a number and like mail in a check or give a credit card over the phone for this. And this was basically like, this was like a pay-per-view. And it's like all sorts of rare radio bits that were censored by the FCC that they couldn't play on the radio. So you get like 2 CDs and a book. And, if you're a classic like Howard Stern fan from the early days, this is like all the nasty stuff that they couldn't play over on the radio show. And for quite a while, this was worth a lot of money because if you didn't buy them when they first came out, they didn't make a ton of these. But I've noticed now, I went and checked yesterday to see like, if I wanted to sell this, how much could I get for it? Then it's not worth anything anymore because I guess they've loaded all this stuff up onto YouTube and now you can listen to this stuff everywhere. So it's not that big a deal anymore. I might have showed this off before. So my beloved Great Deceiver King Crimson box set. Oh, yeah. This is just absolutely classic. This is all classic stuff from 1973 and 1974. The legendary lineup with Bill Bruford and John Wetton and Frith and whatnot. Yeah. The Genesis Archive set. Yeah. It's back when they were making these really long things, right? These long box sets, right? You got the booklet slides in here. All sorts of cool, rare Genesis stuff. Bruce Springsteen tracks. Again, if you're looking for rare and unreleased at the time Springsteen stuff, this is a treasure trove. 4 discs of all sorts of stuff that didn't make the regular 70s albums. This is a really, really good set. Kind of like with that tall one I showed before. Here's a Deep Purple Around the World Live. And this is a 3-disc set. Again, kind of similar. You got the discs housed in the front and the back and the booklet in the middle. And all sorts of stuff from 1995, 1999, 2002, all sorts of live stuff, lots of interviews with the band. This got sent to me by Cats in Space, the really cool band from the UK. Too Many Gods, the Infinity Edition. So their debut album is long out of print. So what they did was they released this new kind of special edition here. So you get the original album on one disc. The other disc has all sorts of kind of cool rarities and different mixes and things like that. And this came to me directly from the band. It's really cool. And let's see. This is an amazing set. And I think they only made a small amount of these, but Frank Marino live at the Agora Theater, which is a DVD Blu-ray set of like a 6-hour concert from Frank Marino. And it took him like forever to kind of edit this and put this all together. I mean, there's a whole story behind it. I did a whole show here on the channel about this and everything that it entailed. But it's one of the most amazing guitar performances you will ever see. It's got a nice little package, got a booklet and everything like that. Very, very cool stuff. Yeah. And last but not least, something I picked up very recently, and I'm not even sure I'm going to open it. Maybe I will. This is a really cool, for serious collectors only. It's Santana Lotus, a great Japanese live album. And this is a CD, but I've never seen anything like this before, the way it's constructed. So you open it up and all these things come out. They have the sleeves with the albums. with the CDs, which are set up like a little mini LP. It's just, I mean, all sorts of stuff. There's tons of booklets in here, and just amazing. You could spend literally an hour looking at this thing, and now putting it back together is going to be even more of a chore. But you got this cool booklet, and then, you know, most of it's in Japanese, but still it's trying to replicate the original LP as much as possible. So there, you know, this attention to detail is just that's what makes being a collector, you know, very, very cool. When you get something like this, all these little mini posters and things, right? Just awesome stuff. You get a little mini replica tour program as well. Lyric booklet, the whole 9 yards. So anyway, yeah, it's going to take me like 15 minutes to put all this back together, Martin, but
yeah, tell me about it. The whole office, right? Put all this back, right? Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there is more stuff we could maybe do. You know, you and I talked, I've got a whole press kit collection and all sorts of little bits and pieces. One day, someone, you know, after I'm gone, I'll go through all the vinyl, because it's all in plastic sleeves, and I tuck stuff into those plastic sleeves, all this paper goods stuff all over the place.
So they're all hidden in there.
Yeah, research material, and you know, all these little weird postcards of Steve Rosen. My favorite ones are all the ones that I've stuck in with the albums all over the place. Like there's all these Styx ones and Devo and all sorts of really cool little paper doodads. And yeah, somewhere around here I've got a handwritten review by Johnny Ramone, I think, of sent into Heavy Metal Magazine of a movie, like handwritten by him. Pretty crazy. But yeah, little stuff all over the place. I remember a My Dying Bride incense burner made out of wood. That's somewhere in here as well. So yeah, it's fun looking at all this stuff and collecting this stuff. But yeah, some of it you get sent directly. You can go out and do big memorabilia buys. It's good to be tapped into like all those old classic collections, you know. I mean, maybe
sometimes people just hand you stuff. They're like, you know, they're friends or people you know, and they're like, you want this? I know you're big into this stuff. I got no use for it. And you're like, wow, why would you give this away, right?
Yeah. And the funny thing about your both of our CDs collections, but especially yours, is you know, you're never going to know what so many of those individual CDs are worth. Some of them are going to be worth a lot of money, right? Because you know they're highly sought after, but you have to look them all up to figure it out, right?
You do. You absolutely do. I didn't get to show this before. So this is what they did. They took like this little cardboard LP, and that's what the CD is kind of housed in. So they make it look as close as possible to the actual vinyl, you know, and that comes in inside here. Yeah. Yeah. You really don't know. And when you've got thousands and thousands of them, you got to go do the research for each one of them, which is like an undertaking that I don't want to do right now. So, or anytime soon, I don't think. But yeah, I was just thinking too. I have a Johnny Winter CD that was signed by him. I got to meet him on his tour bus, like not long before he passed away, when he played locally here a number of years ago. And I totally forgot to pull that out too. But I don't even remember which CD he's on. But that was cool meeting him. But he was like, he looked so small and frail, and I was like, wow, really? This is the Johnny Winter, huh? It's like, man, I barely see, you know.
Yeah. No, autographs is a whole nother one. I mean, you know me and autographs, right? I've got the whole database. I got 3,000 autographed items in here, right?
Wow.
It's all databased. You know, I just hit send. I can show you the whole thing. It's really easy. But and you know, a lot of them are on the walls, framed up with the passes, but a lot of them are just sitting in the collection, right? And a lot of them I did in red ink, right? And then they slowly fade over time, right? You know, some of them are almost completely gone, right? It's like, oh, this looks so cool in red. Like, never use red. Tattoo people tell you that all the time, right? So, yeah, crazy. All right. Well, now we got to put all this back.
Yeah, now we got to put it all back. So an hour to talk about it, now to figure out where we pulled them from and put them all away. So, Martin, what's going on? Any new books in stock? What's any new episodes with the Contrary podcast?
Just the new Cure book is in, the Disintegrating the Cure album by album Wild Mood Swings, which is just a panel book on the Cure. So yeah, martinpopoff.com for that. And then keep checking us out on the Contrarians video channel. And then every week I've got the audio podcast, History in 5 Songs.
Awesome. Sounds good. What do we got going on here at the channel? So tomorrow we have the UK Connection coming at you. Martin, Simon, and I will be ranking the songs on a classic album. That classic album is A Night at the Opera by Queen. So that's happening tomorrow. Sunday, I'll be ranking the albums of the Joe Perry Project. So that's coming up on Sunday. And then we got Hudson Valley Squares coming up on Monday. So lots to do, lots happening. So tune in next week for another episode of Friday Morning at the Funhouse here alongside Martin. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also, down below in the video description, the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations as well as our merch page. So thanks in advance for all of that. For Martin Popoff, I'm Pete Pardo. Thanks for sitting with us an hour of show and tell. We'll see you next week here, Friday Morning at the Funhouse. Bye-bye.